Did you know that there was a man who was struck by lightning 7 times? And that there was a man who got tossed 1,300 feet in the air during a tornado? And did you know that the average hurricane drops enough rain in a day to fill over 7 million Olympic-sized swimming pools?
Yes, it's true.
But yeah, the weather outside can get pretty wet and wild. Take it from Roy Sullivan, a park ranger from Virginia who was literally struck by lightning 7 different times between 1942 and 1977. And as you can imagine, he didn't love it. He was struck on his legs, his arms, his stomach, and his chest. And once on his toe, which actually caused his shoe to fly off. And one time he was knocked unconscious. And 4 of the times his hair literally caught on fire. He was struck so many times that he once said he thought clouds were following him. Getting struck by lightning 7 times in a lifetime is totally nuts. But did you know that in the United States, around 300 people get struck by lightning every year, and that the odds of being struck by lightning during your lifetime are 1 in 15,000? So I guess you never know. But yeah, lightning happens when the water on the Earth's surface absorbs heat from the sun, causing it to evaporate and rise as vapor into high altitudes, where it cools and condenses into clouds. Inside these clouds, temperatures are often freezing, leading to the formation of ice. When ice and water particles within the clouds collide, they generate electrical charges. And if these charges build up with enough force, they will discharge rapidly, sending a super powerful electrical current and a bright flash through the air as lightning, either striking the ground or flashing between clouds. A bolt of lightning carries up to 1 billion volts of electricity and can reach 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. This sudden intense heat from lightning causes the air in the sky to expand and explode, creating a shockwave that we hear as thunder. Lightning travels at speeds up to 220,000 miles per hour, allowing it to cover super long distances almost instantaneously. And its immense power can instantly heat the air, split trees, ignite wildfires, damage buildings, and cause electrical outages. So avoid holding metal objects or standing in water during a lightning storm, because both conduct electricity, increasing the risk of being struck by a lightning-induced electrical current. But what do I know about getting struck by lightning? Ooh! And since we're talking about the wild power of weather, did you know that there was a man who flew 1,300 feet in the air from a tornado?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah! Check this out. On March 12, 2006, 19-year-old Matt Suter from Missouri was tossed 1,307 feet from his grandmother's mobile home by 150-mile-per-hour winds from a tornado. Before he lifted off, Matt was knocked unconscious, but he later woke up in a grassy field 1,307 feet, which is equal to a quarter of a mile away. He suffered some cuts and bruises, but luckily he survived. And he holds the Guinness World Record for the longest distance anyone has ever been thrown by a tornado and survived. Nice, bro. But why does this all happen? Well, a tornado is a violent spinning column of air that forms in a really big thunderstorm called a supercell, when warm, moist air from one direction collides with cool, dry air from another. All this wind moving at different speeds and directions causes a vortex. As more air gets sucked upwards, the vortex spins and picks up more moisture and energy from the storm until it eventually touches down. Tornadoes only last about 2 to 3 minutes, but the wind from a tornado can reach up to 250 miles per hour, which is strong enough to rip apart buildings, destroy bridges, flip trains, send cars flying, and even suck all the water out of a riverbed. About 1,000 tornadoes happen every year in the U.S., and they are rated on a scale which categorizes them from 0, which is the weakest, to 5, which is the strongest and most destructive. And while we're talking about destructive and wet weather, did you know that the average hurricane, which can be very destructive, drops enough rain in a day to fill over 7 million Olympic-sized swimming pools?
Yes, it's true.
A hurricane is a large, intensely powerful storm system known for its high winds and heavy rain. Hurricanes form over warm waters in tropical regions, like the western part of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, where water temperatures can be at least 79 degrees Fahrenheit. As warm air rises from these waters, it's replaced by cooler air, which then warms up and rises again, like a vacuum, creating a cycle and eventually producing storm clouds and rainfall. This continuous cycle of warm air rising and cooling forms a low-pressure center called the eye, which the hurricane rotates around, picking up massive amounts of speed, a process that generates an insane 1.5 terawatts of power, which translates to more than enough energy to supply the electrical needs of the entire United States right now. Yeah, and hurricanes also generate winds that can reach up to 160 miles per hour and waves that can reach up to 100 feet tall. And obviously, hurricanes can be super destructive when they reach land, destroying buildings, causing floods, and eroding coastlines. Hurricanes are massive. They are like one big, powerful weather beast constantly moving. They span up to 300 miles, and sometimes farther, and feature spiraling rain bands made up of clouds and thunderstorms that extend outward from the eye of the hurricane and deliver intense and non-stop rainfall over large areas. And I'm talking about a lot of rain. Yeah, the average hurricane drops 2.4 trillion gallons of rain per day. That's enough water to fill over 7 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. And it's enough to supply water to 22 million households for an entire year.
Yes, it's true.
Woo! Yeah! All this lightning and talk of tornadoes and hurricanes has got me all wiped out. But yeah, the power and energy from the earth and the weather is pretty impressive. So next time it's windy and rainy out, remember what we talked about. Alright, my buddies, I'll check you next time on...
Yes, it's true.
Whee! Woo! That's gonna leave a mark.